liar. You never call. I'll be just fine. Yeah, I'll sleep well. This never made much sense to me. I sleep alone, yeah. You are the things I always remember, always remember. When that's all you need. You said when that's all you need. You like it more than ever. I cannot stand this. You like it more than ever. It was just a goddamn mistake. Come on, stay at home, 'cause you're way too good at faking it. Love is too much. I'll be just fine. Yeah. Come on, stay at home. It's always the same shit. Calling you. Yeah. Calling you. That's right.